Hello everybody, it's Justin here, back with another autograph haul video. I know it's been a long time since I did one of these videos. The last time I did an autograph haul was from Anime Iowa, and since then I've been to 3 conventions. I've been to Ramencon 2015, Grand Rapids Comic Con 2015, and most recently, Youmacon 2015. I got a lot of things that I got signed by the voice actors, so let's get started. Now the first con I'm going to go over is Ramencon 2015. That event took place on September 18th to September 21st, 2015 in Maryville, Indiana. It took place in the Radisson Star Plaza Hotel, and a lot of people talked about how small this convention was. It definitely was, and my buddy Cody from Convention Reviews talked about how this event was mostly for meeting people. This is a meetup convention. So if you're going to if you want to go to one of those cons where you want to meet new people, meet new friends, this is the con to go to. And I couldn't agree more. I met a lot of new people at Ramencon. I met Cody himself and so many other people. We shared a lot of stories together talking about anime, video games, and life in general. So I think it was a really good experience if you're in it to meet new people. So the first guest I met at Ramencon was J. Michael Tatum. A lot of people probably know J. Michael Tatum as Sebastian from Black Butler, Okabe in Steins Gate, Julius Kresnik from Tales of Xillia 2, and a bunch of other anime that he voiced in. Oh my gosh, he was such a funny guy. I've been to both of his panels, and it was probably one of the funniest experiences I've ever had at a convention. He brought the audience down. He was extremely funny. There was a lot of girls fangirling over him. It was a truly amazing experience. So let's go over the autographs I got from J. Michael Tatum. I ended up getting 6 autographs from him. So let's start with the most basic stuff. So the first thing I got was Black Butler. He signed it right there. He was Sebastian, like I said before. So you got that. The next thing I got signed by J. Michael Tatum was my copy of Tales of Xillia 2. Now, one thing I like to mention about Tales of Xillia 2 is that very few people brought this thing. When I asked Tatum how many people actually brought this to the autograph line, he said myself and 4 other people. So I was extremely surprised that only a handful of people brought Tales of Xillia 2. And I don't know why, because Tatum had a really strong role in this game. He was Julius Kresnik, who was the brother of Luger Kresnik, who was voiced by Josh Greeley. So he was a really cool character. I even asked him a question about his experience with Tales of Xillia 2, and he said he really enjoyed it. He was really humbled to be Julius Kresnik. So yeah, so there it is, Tales of Xillia 2. So the next thing I got signed by Tatum was my copy of Spice and Wolf. This is the second anime I watched that had J. Michael Tatum in it. The first one being Soul Eater. So this was probably one of his most popular titles. I watched this before Black Butler, and he was Kraft Lawrence. So he was a really good character. He was also working with Brina Palencia in the recording of this. And I thought he had a really cool role as that trader Lawrence and his adventures with Holo. Next thing I got signed by J. Michael Tatum was Attack on Titan. I know there are a lot of signatures on this, so I had to get Tatum's signature because I believe he was one of the directors of the show. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that's what somebody said about that. So there we go, Attack on Titan. Now we get to the one anime that he really enjoyed recording, and that's Steins Gate. So I got J. Michael Tatum to sign that, saying his L Sai Kongro. So he was Okabe in this show, and he was talking about in his panel how it was a really emotional experience recording Steins Gate. He said when he got to the most dramatic parts of Steins Gate, after the recording, he just couldn't take it anymore. It was that emotional of an experience for him to record for Okabe. And I watched the series and I couldn't agree more. When you get to that part, like I think it was like episode 10 to 13, that's where it gets extremely intense. And I can totally understand why Tatum would have this emotional experience when recording for Okabe. So not only did I have part 1 of Steins Gate signed, I also got part 2, so thank you, Tatum, for signing both copies of Steins Gate. So that's about it for Tatum, and now let's move on to Richard Epcar and Ellyn Stern. So the next voice actors I met at Ramencon were Richard Epcar and Ellyn Stern. So these voice actors are the veteran voice actors. They've been doing voice acting for a long time. We're talking about back in the 90s with all those old TV shows like Power Rangers, Digimon, and all those other classic cartoons. So I'm gonna make this quick. The only thing that they signed for me are video games because I don't own any of the old animes that they appeared in. So let's start with video games here. So let's start out with Mortal Kombat. So I got Richard Epcar to sign my Vita version of Mortal Kombat. He was Raiden. In addition to Mortal Kombat, he also signed my copy of Mortal Kombat X for the Xbox One. He was Raiden, like I said before. So there we go, we got that. The next thing I got Richard Epcar to sign was my copy of Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. He was Ansem in the game. And not only that, but he also signed my copy of Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD Remaster. Same villain. He was Ansem. Now, the next thing that Richard Epcar signed along with Ellyn Stern was Blue Dragon. Ellyn Stern did the voice directing for this game, and it was really good voice directing. I really enjoyed the voice cast for this game, and both Ellyn and Richard played certain characters in this game. I forgot what characters they were. It's been a long time. Now, the last thing I got Richard Epcar to sign, and this is a shout out to my buddy Rap5 for recommending me this game, and that's Akiba's Trip Undead and Undressed. He was the villain in the game, and I have to say, this game is a pretty weird game. So the gameplay of this game is that the way you fight in this game is you're trying to strip all the clothes off of your enemies. Very weird. It's a very unique and weird experience to play a game like this. So once again, Rap5, thanks for recommending this game for me. So that's it for all my Ramencon autographs. Now let's move on to Grand Rapids Comic Con, and it's very short. So a month after Ramencon, I went to Grand Rapids Comic Con in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I was actually recommended to go to this con by a member from Pure ZC, and that wasn't the very first time I heard of Grand Rapids Comic Con. The very first time I heard of Grand Rapids Comic Con was at Anime Midwest. So I was at the dealer's room and I was purchasing a few anime DVDs, and in my bag I saw an advertisement for Grand Rapids Comic Con. And it had several guests like Walter Jones, the guy who played Big Bird, as well as Trina Nishimura. So I decided to go to Grand Rapids Comic Con for just one day only. It was on October 17th. And the only people I've met were Walter Jones and Trina Nishimura. So the only autographs I got at the Grand Rapids Comic Con, and mind you, autographs cost money for this convention, were Trina Nishimura. And while $65 left my pocket, it was totally worth it because this was the very first time I've met Trina Nishimura, and I thought she was a really nice lady. I've been to her panel. She talked about how she became a voice actor, how we can become voice actors, and all of her funny experiences doing work outside of voice acting. I even asked her a question about Steins Gate on how it was like voicing Makise Kurisu. And just like Tatum, it was a very emotional experience. She talked about a scene in Steins Gate regarding Makise's father. I'm not going to spoil it, but it was a very emotional scene. For those who saw that scene in Steins Gate probably know what I'm talking about. That was a very sad and emotional scene, and Trina gave us an expression of how she reacted after recording that scene in the show. So the only autographs I got, once again, were from Trina Nishimura. I got this really awesome Mikasa print right here, and I originally wanted Trina to sign my copy of Attack on Titan, but since autographs were all being charged, I want to make the $25 I spent on this autograph worth it. So instead of getting my copy of Attack on Titan signed, I got this really awesome print, And I personally think this is a much better way to get an autograph than getting my DVD signed. And the only DVD I got signed by Trina was Steins Gate. The only reason being was because I already have J. Michael Tatum's autograph on this, and I really want Tatum and Trina's autograph to be together. So for those of you who are wondering why I didn't get a print of Makise, this is the reason why, because I just want both autographs to be together. So thank you, Trina, for signing both of these for me. So that's it for Grand Rapids Comic Con. My final thoughts on Grand Rapids Comic Con. It's a really cool convention. There was a lot of different types of things in the dealer's room, in addition to comics and superheroes and whatnot. They also have stuff that you would normally see in an anime con. So you got a bunch of wall scroll places. You got places to get prints in the artist alley. You got a place where you can get a bunch of anime DVDs. It overall has a lot of things for everyone. I totally recommend going to Grand Rapids Comic Con if you're in it for the dealer's room. And it's pretty cheap. I think I paid about $17 just to get into the con. So if you're going there just for the dealer's room, it's totally worth it. If you don't want to pay for those super expensive cons like Anime Central, Youmacon, where going there for 3 days can cost up to $60. So totally worth it if you're in it for the dealer's room.